Okay. These are the moments we wait for in life. That's just how it is. These are the moments we wait for. We wait for the opportunity to connect with old friends, and we also wait for bad things to happen to Los Angeles sports teams. That's mean-spirited. I'm sorry. I'm kidding. I don't root for anybody to get hurt, but I do think of people like Adam Rank, NFL Network, NFL.com, when someone like Cooper Kupp has a re-aggravation. What's it like in the fantasy community when something like this goes down, Adam Rank?
First of all, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to speak yet because I do not hear remedy, number one.
Uh-oh.
That's a little off-putting. But also, this is so crazy because this is one of the things that I was worried about. And just to let everybody know, to pull back the curtain, we tape NFL Fantasy Live in the morning, and they're like, "Yeah, don't worry." I'm like, "What if news breaks? Like, don't worry about it." I'm like, "Okay." Like, what if Cooper? Like, literally today, I was like, "What if Cooper Kupp pulls his hamstring?" Like, yeah, he's not going to. I'm like, "Okay, see you guys later." And now I feel like I'm the person. Like it was me, but I put that in the universe, and I feel awful for every fantasy enthusiast out there who's already done their draft, or or has them in a keeper league or something like that. It's terrible because this is one of the best players in fantasy. There is nobody who averages more points per game at the wide receiver position, more than Justin Jefferson, more than Jamar Chase. This is literally a huge deal.
Oh, yeah, Adam. We wanted to make sure you felt comfortable.
Listen, it's early in the season, okay? We're no different than Kyle Shanahan, Adam. We messed up.
It's okay.
And we're going to try to fix it, okay?
But like the 49ers, you guys are such a steady organization that you could whiff on the third overall pick in the draft, the quarterback, and be like, yeah, whatever. Like, I'm a Bears fan. We would never recover. We would be dead for years. And then the 49ers are like, oh, yeah, we're going to go to the NFC Championship game. Almost won it without a quarterback.
Right.
But that's a story for another day. That's a story for another day.
Well, for now, I mean, while we're on that story, do you think that their success is a part of the, pun intended, remedy for Kyle Shanahan in terms of being able to get beyond one of the biggest mistakes in NFL history?
I mean, it is a testament to what he and John Lynch have been able to build there. And I know that I'm not there, so I don't know what their relationship is like. But I do know that they continue to put out great teams year after year. Look what the Rams did. The Rams went all in and they bleep them picks and that kind of stuff, and yet they were a one-hit wonder. They were the Dexy's Midnight Runners of the NFL.
Nice.
It's terrible that they even have it. It's dumb. Nobody in LA cared that they won a Super Bowl. It was okay, cool. Whatever. If your neighbor, his son came over and was like, hey, we won our Region 143 slot. You're like, okay, cool. That's great. We like other teams. And so that was a waste. It's like watching wrestling and they gave the belt to David Arquette. What are you doing? There were 14 people at the parade. Nobody cares. It's a big, what is LA? If you think it used to be such a proud region. It was a proud region. And now the team with the most recent legitimate World Series title is El Segundo, which is about on the same level as the Dodgers extended spring training title that they won in 2020. If I ever need to cheer myself up, if I'm feeling bummed out, I watch the Dodgers celebrate their bubble title, and it just makes me happy. I'm like, these guys are just they're so thrilled. Listen, it's like when Sigma Pi won the intramural football title. They were very happy, and they were celebrating, and they got the cops called on them later that night, and I'm sure the Dodgers loved it. But don't ever tell me that it was a real title. It was a joke. And so I don't even know what we were talking about. But, the 49ers.
Doesn't matter. Just keep saying it.
Sigma Pi.
You're in the process of getting every single one of our listeners to love you, Adam. That's what you're doing right now.
It's been a long, windy road since 2013. But I'm sitting here trying to do it, and I mean it all. I really do. And but I think the 49ers just show that they're one of the better organizations in the league. It really is. It really is fascinating to me, and I can't wait for the 30 for 30 on the Brock Purdy situation and how it plays out. But, like, they've done so well, and there really hasn't been a franchise quarterback. Like, Jimmy Garoppolo's played well in spurts, and guys have come in and have done okay, but it's not like they've had Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow or any of these other guys, and yet they've still found a way to be competitive. They're going to be the favorite to be in or at least the NFC Championship game. Like, it is kudos to you guys, and I get jealous watching it. I'm like, why did I not just become a 49ers fan when I was a kid? There was no team in L.A. It was wide open. I could have just done the right thing, but nope. No, Dad, I'll follow you. I'll be a Bears fan. This can't go wrong.
There's still time, Adam. I know that Justin Fields could be the guy that got away for the 49ers someday, but there's still time. Adam Rank, NFL.com, NFL Network. While we're on the 49ers, I wonder what your take is on what Dan Graziano wrote earlier today, and I'll just give you a quick synopsis. He said, don't be surprised if Christian McCaffrey has 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving, and he knows the offense even better this year, but the Niners will take McCaffrey off the field more than Carolina did and use some of his backups to avoid overloading him. What's your take on where McCaffrey's going and what that'll look like this year?
I'm doing the Michael Scott. Don't like that. I don't like that at all. Put him on the field. He's fine. One of the things that was amazing about McCaffrey last year, and maybe they were trying to work in some of the backups, he had a touchdown in at least, or total, of 11 games. He had just a touchdown in 11 games. That is one of the safest floors in the league, that you're basically guaranteed that he's going to get 100, that he's going to get a touchdown to go with his 100 combined scrimmage yards. I know it's the topping, it's the dessert. You know what I'm saying? It's the dessert cart that comes around when he gets the touchdown. But he is so valuable running and catching the football. He gets so many targets, so many receptions that we shouldn't be greedy. Like when you're at Chick-fil-A and you're like, can I get the Polynesian sauce and the buffalo? I know I'm asking too much. There's a lot of good things happening here. So maybe it's a little bit too much, but I still think that, he is one of the most valuable players in the league. And if we've got to, listen, if it means that he plays all 17 games, so be it. But I still think that he's an excellent player. He's still the number 2 guy off the board for me, so I'm not even going to sweat it.
Played all 17 last year over the 2 different stops. So if health is not an issue, then yeah, you're absolutely right. What do you think about Brock Purdy in terms of being somebody's QB1 in fantasy? If they averaged 30 points a game with him last year toward the end of the year, is that a mirage or are you a Brock believer?
No, I'm a believer, and I think that it's going to take him a couple of weeks to really get his footing and really get going again. And I think that the 49ers know what to do. Last season, they lost that opening game against Chicago. They were what? Were you 2-2? Were you not? It wasn't a great start, but they finished strong. And that's exactly what I expect from the 49ers again this season. When you look at the division, the Cardinals are, General Patton, the Tank Commanders, the Rams, who knows what's going to happen with them. Seattle kind of swung out of their shoes last year. I love that everybody just assumes that Seattle is this great team. I'm like, really? Okay. Like, if you say so, I don't really see it, but I'm like, okay. But at the same time, I think the 49ers are rock steady. And even if Brock Purdy takes a couple of weeks to get going, at some point during the season when you need to start streaming quarterbacks, you're going to go pick up Brock Purdy, and he's going to be very good for you.
Adam Rank, NFL.com, NFL Network. You mentioned your Bears fandom. I know it well. I'll let you know that we do still have Justin Fields' name come up around here through this quarterback experience. If Brock Purdy's the guy, he's the guy. But if something is not as it seems there, and now that they moved on from Trey Lance, I'd love to hear what you think Justin Fields is going to look like this year, and will the 49ers regret someday not making him the 3rd overall pick?
I sure hope so. Like that was my fear on draft night, was that they were going to end up, taking, because everybody was talking about Mac Jones being the guy that they were thinking about taking in that spot. And I'm like, well, I just hope it's not Justin Fields, because I'm a huge Fields guy going back to his time at Ohio State. I really hope. I think going back to the 80s, and as good as the Bears were in the 80s, like things were a little bit amiss because the 49 we were competing with the 49ers in the 80s. Like it's that great team always just had to go up against them in the 84 championship game. So for us to get a win this long later, I'm really hopeful of that. And I really do believe that DJ Moore comes in and has the kind of impact that Stephon Diggs had in Buffalo, that A.J. Brown had in Philadelphia. When you look at the numbers, DJ Moore is a better receiver coming into Chicago than Diggs was in Minnesota and what A.J. Brown was in Tennessee. And we've already seen a little bit of it in preseason, what DJ Moore can do, being the yak monster. He's going to get 120 targets. Mark, I'll tell you right now, you got to get DJ Moore on your team. Whether Justin Fields continues to break out, I don't think he's going to rush for 1,000 yards again. I hope he doesn't rush for 1,000 yards again. But you got to get DJ Moore on your roster.
Yeah, that would have been cool if you said that yesterday before our draft, Adam.
Oh, no. Listen, I had it. I had a text. Like, when Mark texted me today, I had a message that I forgot to say. I don't know. It was probably one of my kids pulled me away from this, where I was texting Mark, like, am I not allowed on your show anymore? Like, what happened? I thought we were good friends.
Yeah. I know, yeah.
No, finally today it comes in. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, there it is. So I was excited.
And we blew the intro, too. And, for that, we're all going to be kicking ourselves after the fact.
That just means we got to do it again tomorrow. Adam, are you available tomorrow?
We're fine.
Okay. All right.
No, it's always great to hear from you with your bright positivity and your unrequited Dodger love that seems to come through.
I can't wait for them to fold again. That dumb squad. I'm so sick of them.
Yeah,
I hate their celebration. I hate their it really is sad. Like when I see somebody walking around with a Dodgers World Series champion shirt, I'm like, how old is that? Like, is that vintage '88? I'm like, oh, it's from that thing you guys did in Texas, the Texas two-step title, whatever you call it.
Called the Justin Turner COVID return party is what I've been calling it. But Adam, one more, and it's this: we talked about Cooper Kupp. Does today's news change his status, or how does it change his status? Is he still a first rounder? And for those just tuning in, McVay says Kupp has had a setback with the hamstring.
It is. I was shocked. I was actually avoiding Cooper Kupp. And the thing that I was saying today on the show was that if Cooper Kupp comes in and does what he does, like what he's done for the last number of years, then I'm going to look foolish. But I have no shares of Cooper Kupp anywhere. The whole thing, the whole situation was a huge red flag for me. Like, already, we don't know what's going to happen with Stafford. Like, how many games do you think he's really going to play? And so then I looked at it and I'm like, there's too many good guys in the first round that I would rather take a chance on. I'd rather have Tyreek Hill. I'd rather even have Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, even CeeDee Lamb, who is, overlooked a lot of times because people don't like the Cowboys. There are so many good players in the first round. Austin Eckler, Travis Kelce. To me, it's too risky to go with Cooper Kupp. I think that if you're in a league and you're at you're in a 12-team league and you're sitting there at 12, if your league mates are smart and they know what they're doing, you're going to be looking at a draft board that's going to have Derrick Henry and Cooper Kupp. And it's like, do you just go all in? Like, whatever. Like, that's the biggest YOLO team of all time. All right, I'm riding it out, or else are you going to avoid it and let those guys slip into the second round? I'm probably taking a safer play for me. I might take one of them, but not both of them.
Yeah.
So it really does impact me. And so if I'd rather have a safer play. Like, it's course management, Mark. Sometimes you're like, you know what? I got to hit the 3-wood. I can't sit here and go driver.
Yeah, make it a 3-shot hole sometimes. It's okay. Hey, Adam, we also need this comment from you. One of our brethren here at 95.7 The Game in the draft, the host that comes on right before us, one of the hosts that comes on right before us, in the draft last night, both failed to remember his login credentials, therefore made the draft stop for 15 minutes, followed by getting locked out of his account and having to auto-draft the whole thing. Your take on a human being like that?
Well, because he ends up with Jonathan Taylor, I love every second of it. Please tell me he has Jonathan Taylor.
Here's the crazy thing. The crazy thing is the guy that had the number 1 overall pick, sort of fell asleep at the wheel just for I think 1 or 2 picks, and he let the time roll out, and he ended up with Jonathan Taylor.
That's
That's how it
my
played
worst
out.
nightmare.
Right.
That is my worst nightmare. Like, I go into every time I have a draft, I go in because, like, you never know what happens. Like, there's always something funky that goes on. Like, who knows? The internet goes out. You do something strange. Who knows? I draft like 300 players, making sure I don't get Jonathan Taylor. Maybe it's not that extreme, but like, do not want that at all. And so, how about this? When you know there's a draft, you're not surprised by this. The day before, log in. Just log in. See what happens. If you have a draft this weekend, starting on Friday or what have you, just right now, whatever you're doing, just go in and see if you can log in. Just go make sure your passwords are up to date and everything's copacetic. It doesn't take a long time, and be ready to go. Like, this is the time. This isn't like, I don't know, this is serious time. Like, it's too late. It's too late for mistakes like this. It's like when you start seeing mistakes in preseason in week 3 that shouldn't be happening, that draws some concern. So go get your stuff sorted, people, and don't let this happen to you.
Yeah, it's too late to apologize as well. Adam, your comments are very well received. Your appearance also very well received. Our apologies to you. We will make sure that the Crows are ready to sing the next time you come round these parts.
Hey, no problem. You know what? For you, never an issue. I really do appreciate you bringing me on. It's been a lot of fun, you know, and I think back to when we started doing this, and going all the way back to your time in San Diego. So I love it. I love hearing from you. I love being on. Your fans are great, and I appreciate you, and that's all I got to say.
Okay.
Thanks,
all
Adam.
right. We're doing it again soon. That's what that means. Thank you, brother.
All right, anytime.
Okay. It's Adam Rank, NFL.com, NFL Network. Stay the heck away from Kupp or Coop.